Watch Who?
Hello, and welcome to the To Watch Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I am, well, what am I, Mark?
You're watching these stories for the very first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still in my dilemma of life as we record right now.
You're resisting being a fan. Let's say that, shall we?
Yeah.
You're watching them. You're not a fan.
I know too much.
You know too much already, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I've just too much. Like, I talk to people now about it, and I've got all of this, like, random knowledge about early Doctor Who episodes now, and I can have really long, detailed conversations about early Doctor Who episodes. Like, oh, so are you a Doctor Who fan? No.
No, there we go then. Maybe it should be that. Hi, I'm Mark. I'm a Doctor Who fan. Sarah, are you a fan? No. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Still open to people to send us what they think I should be saying.
Yes. So welcome back, listeners. We did the Gunfighters last week.
With Peter.
Special guest Peter.
Yeah.
At Uncommon Pilgrim on Twitter. So that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a very different kind of story that we've had before.
Yeah, definitely.
And then this week, we are back to a full missing story. The Savages. Well, I'll just say right from the beginning, Stephen's last story.
Yeah,
We've just witnessed his last few moments. I didn't tell you, obviously.
No.
I never tell you spoilers.
No, I never know what's coming up.
So this is a sad episode for me because I am a Stephen fan. So I'm just warning everybody now.
Yeah. So, and also, this could be the last one that we record together for a while.
So we're rushing this because, as we speak, Cardiff is going to go into lockdown in 2 hours. So you won't be allowed round. It will be illegal in 2 hours to be doing this for the time being. So
yeah, it's different in Wales to England in that you can't see your bubbles. So we formed a bubble and now we can't meet. So
we're recording this a few weeks in advance as well. So who knows where we'll be in like 4 weeks' time from here. But as we speak right now, we've watched The Savages this Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, we were like, we've got to do this now.
Yeah.
And also, you said we've got one episode left of this season.
Yeah, one more story.
Which is so sad because we're just not going to fit it in.
Yeah, because season 2 was our lockdown season. And we were so happy at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
We were all so happy that day when we started Galaxy 4.
We were like, yeah.
So see what happens, see what goes on. So Savages today. Should we just talk about Stephen a moment? So I've given you another Doctor Who magazine.
Yeah.
Which I think I will occasionally for you to up your fandom percentage. So this one is from 1999.
Yeah.
And it features a really nice interview with William Russell and Peter Purves together, chatting together. So I thought you might like that.
The dream team.
As you know, I mean, I'm a Stephen fan, you're an Ian fan.
Yeah.
So are there any highlights you want to start with?
It's a very long interview. Like, it's really long. I'm not, like, it's just, you know, it's not like the Adrian Hill one, although she didn't have a lot to say, which sums up her character.
I mean, these guys have like 3 years worth of Doctor Who between them.
Yeah.
Compared to Adrian Hill's 5 minutes. So there's a nice picture of Stephen in his toy maker outfit in colour, which I wasn't sure if you'd seen it in colour before. His stripes.
Yeah, I've just seen now. This is Peter Purves talking about his character. I enjoyed doing Doctor Who. I really did. I was just disappointed with my character, Russell. Why was that, Peter? Peter. I didn't like him. Except on a couple of occasions, Stephen was rather dull. Let me tell you the story. The only person who knew that you and Jackie were leaving was Dennis Spooner, who wrote the first serial in which I appeared, which was the Time Meddler.
Time Meddler with Edith.
Yeah. It was a nice bit of historical nonsense, and the character had something to do. He was argumentative, being an experienced space pilot, which was a fairly new thing for the Doctor.
Sorry, tick, tick, argumentative space pilot. Yeah, my favourite things.
Sadly, that character never appeared again after that story.
Well, Peter Purves, I think I disagree with you there.
I agree. I've said this the whole time to you, Mark. I've always said, where's this space pilot thing that you go on about? I went to the read-through for the next serial, Galaxy 4, and there was a great row. I said, there's nothing to play. The guy's so wet. He is. The original script had been written for you and Jackie, and the crux of the story was that Jackie had been captured by these female Dravens, there we are. I can't even remember. Like, I watched the episode.
Yeah, I know. Chumblies.
And the Chumblies. I had to be captured by these pretty birds instead, and it was ridiculous. And if we could have seen the script from the point of view that they were 4 pretty ladies and I wanted to be captured, Russell, I know Bill was very pleased by the fact that you were joining, and it made our departure easier. He was very upset at the time, but it helped that he liked you, Peter. That's true. I never had a cross word with him. Russell, neither did I.
So basically, William Russell is like, I'm really glad you were there so we could just go as quickly as possible and he wouldn't notice. Yeah.
Peter goes on. Bill was furious when I went too. I think he might have caused a bit of a rumpus over it, which wouldn't have helped his cause. He was a bit like a child in that he needed security blanket, and that was provided by the people around him who he trusted. He often felt there were conspiracies, but he knew I wouldn't do him down. You should read the biography by his granddaughter, Jessica Carney. Very interesting. Russell says, yes, I know it. I talked to her when she was writing it. Peter, it's not very kind, but it's honest. There's a lot of sadness in there, and it's illuminating. I think Bill actually had a touch of... You said this before to me.
Megalomania.
Thank you. Megalomania about him on Doctor Who. At the end, when he left, he was beginning to lose it. He was ill, but he was still trying to be the boss man.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that I think William Russell and Peter Purves would have had different experiences.
Yeah.
I love how William Russell in that interview is just that Peter Purves is like, da-da-da-da-da, and William Russell is like, yeah, I know, yeah, oh, I know, yeah.
Why is that, Peter?
Yeah, why is that, Peter? Tell me, Peter. And William Russell does not care about Stephen Taylor or any of Peter Purves' experiences. So it is really sad that Stephen has left.
Yeah. But I agree in that he's not...
I know, like, the last few stories haven't been great for Stephen.
No.
Yeah, okay. And I think that's... The producers and the writers are completely different from when he started to where we are now. Season 3 has been the, bad behind-the-scenes season as we've gone on. Mm. So it has been very up and down. It was a shock,
but it wasn't a shock, if that makes sense. I was surprised... But I was like, but the last few just haven't felt like that character. And in the same way that the Ian and Barbara ones felt
like
strange.
For those other ones, you could have swapped out Stephen, like the Celestial Toymaker or the Gunfighters. You could have swapped out Stephen and put anyone else in there.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be Stephen. There was no reason for it to be Stephen the space pilot.
Mark, let's just talk about this whole space pilot thing. Like...
Well, you've got to remember, I'm just saying that because he's not from 1960s.
No.
He's not an Ian from 1960s. He's not a contemporary person.
Yes, I agree.
And I like that.
I completely agree with the dull thing. I can see...
Stephen will never be dull.
I can see where he's coming from. He's very much... a blank canvas as a character, I think. So, look at your little face. You're, like, not happy at my comment. It's not as bad as when I said about Barbara, but it's up there. But he is. He's not bland, but it took me so long to be like, what is he about? And the closest I've got is that he's, like, for the people. But other than that, but so's the Doctor.
Yeah, okay.
So in that sense, that's a moral thing that actually all the companions have. Like Dodo has that. Vicky had that. They all have that to them. So in that sense, if let's remove that from the equation. He's argumentative, but actually he's not argumentative. I would argue that Dodo's more argumentative than Stephen.
Yeah, okay.
So let's take... Okay.
I don't know. It depends what story and how they're written in each story, I think.
Yeah. So if we take that away from Stephen, there's not much left. What he's good at is, he holds the story. He's very good. He's a good lead.
Well, yeah, he is the substitute doctor in a lot of when the doctor's on holiday, when we've got part-time doctor.
He does what he needs to do.
Yeah. That's a good way of summing it up. Yeah, he gets through it and does what he needs to do.
Yeah.
There's not much sense of the fun of the adventure, though, that we have. I think the first time I've seen him enjoy himself was when he dressed up as a cowboy.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never seen him excited about stuff.
No. He's not... like him.
So when he was in the chase, you were quite excited because you were like, oh, okay, I wish he'd stayed. You wanted him to stay after they met him at the end of the chase. So he didn't live up to your expectations when you saw him there as that character to continue.
But I think maybe...
He didn't take his panda with him.
Maybe that's all it was. Maybe I just really liked him with a panda.
He didn't take his panda with him on the Planet of the Savages.
I think that's what it
was.
was.
He didn't take anything with him.
No, just himself.
It was just him.
Yeah. I think maybe... I think what I liked about him there is he'd obviously been very resourceful and he'd obviously tried to think about how to get out and he had
been
knowledge.
There for about 3 years with the mechanoids.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to get out anyway.
Yeah, he wanted to get out. So he had that drive to get out. He'd obviously thought about different things. He knew it. And he had other people in to help now. So he had that momentum and drive to do it as a character. And he worked with them well. There was a nice gel to them as a group. And I liked that he had the panda as a friend. So when it came to it, and he had a nice energy. And to be fair, Stephen has always had a nice energy. It's not like he's not a dull energy about him. What I found frustrating with the other ones when Vicky left wasn't actually Stephen's energy. It was the energy of the story. Like I said, it just needed a bit more fun to it. Stephen is not a fun character. He's not. He doesn't bring the fun to it. He doesn't, God, we were amazed when he stuck on that stripy jumper. It was so, do you know what I mean? It's so un-Stephen. That's okay. That's it's just not his character. He's not,
I accept that. I accept that. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that.
No. But it's sad to see him go.
Oh, yeah, completely. It's really sad. It really shocked me. And actually, I did feel a little bit like, oh, that's quite sad.
Okay.
Well,
let's go through the story then. Let's go through the Savages and we'll talk about how it ends up.
Yeah.
So last time, at the end of the Gunfighters, they'd landed, and the doctor said, we've landed on a place of peace and prosperity in the far future.
Yeah.
And we saw our caveman guy with his meat cleaver, possibly.
It wasn't a meat cleaver. It wasn't a meat cleaver.
Just to say, the reference to the meat cleaver was, it's only because you said meat cleaver, because I had found a meat cleaver outside my work last week in a bag, in a Frozen 2 bag. So I was looking up, there's this bag with some trainers. I thought, lost property, Frozen 2 bag for life. Opened it up and it also had a massive meat cleaver in, so...
Yeah, or a meat cleaver.
Yeah, the police have taken it away. Anyway, so he had something. Anyway, it looked cavemanish like.
Yeah.
And then you thought, okay, maybe they are, maybe they're not. We weren't really sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just to say as well, this is the first story, so they've got rid of the individual episode titles now. We are Savages episode 1, 2, 3, 4. They didn't have their individuals. I'm not sure if you noticed that.
I only spotted it after...
Because we don't always notice the episode titles, do we? Unless they're...
Sometimes we do. Well, no, we sometimes do.
Sometimes we do.
But I noticed the Savages, and then... Because I said to you, I was like, where'd I get... And it said episode 1, but I didn't notice it after that. I didn't notice it say episode 2, So
the Doctor immediately, he does this again, immediately goes out and leaves Stephen and Dodo.
We've now reached the distant horizon of an age of peace and prosperity. Now, I'm going to be off.
Off he goes with his vibrator, his reacting vibrator, taking some reading. He's like, I'm just going to go over to these bushes over here with my reacting vibrator. See you later, guys.
No comment. We'll just leave that there.
We're also watching the loose cannon reconstructions of this, by the way. So you can't... I mean, it seems to just cut to the Doctor out there with his thing.
I just have this, normally, like, it's the three of them stuck on a ship. He gets off. He's like, I'm going off my reactive vibrator solo, bye.
It is. And there's a lot of times that he just can't wait to get away.
Yeah.
Straight off.
With his reactive vibrator.
So he's taking some he's looking at, and he's like, yes, I think we are in the far future and stuff. Stephen's wandering around. So it's a shame this is missing, actually, because this was filmed on location in some quarry/sand pit somewhere. So we haven't had any Stephen or Dodo or any location footage that exists. So it would have been nice to see them actually out there.
Yeah.
Doing that. So I would like to see this episode partly because of that. Stephen on location, that's what I want. So there's Stephen, off he's looking. Dodo's having a chill in her 60s dress, just sitting on the rocks.
She's living life.
Nice little telesnap of that.
Living life.
Chilled out as usual, not too, just enjoying it. Then we have these savages looking through the bushes. So we meet not Chad. I wanted to call him Chad. Chal, who is the one that's really made up older. He's very noticeably
the leader.
That's probably why he's made up more than the others.
Yeah.
Or they just ran out of makeup. They used it all on him. And then Tor, his friend, has just a few. Another Tor. This is... So, remembered halfway through the story, we've met a Tor before, haven't we?
We have.
Our previous Tor won, I think, Best Supporting Character. Won an Oscar. From Tor from the Space Museum. This is not Tor from the Space Museum. This is Savage Tor.
Savage Tor.
So they're watching, and you think, what were you thinking at this point about this story? Well,
I thought he'd obviously got the wrong period.
Right.
And this wouldn't be the first time that's happened, so... Yeah.
Okay. But then they...
This wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. And then these guards come up and meet the Doctor, a bit more futuristic looking.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, they welcome him and they know that he's coming and they're expecting him. I thought that was a nice, intriguing moment.
I found the whole first episode intriguing.
Do you know what? You were sitting there pretty much in silence. And I was thinking, you're either sort of falling asleep. But then when it finished, you were like, I really enjoyed that. Let's watch the next one. And I was like, what? I was like, hang on, what? Like, I was not expecting you to say that.
No.
Really not.
I know you weren't. You said, what? Like 4 times. I did. I enjoy... Do you know what it reminded me of? The Space Museum.
I suppose it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Because you're not really sure. It's a nice setup because it's a mystery, and then you meet these different sets of characters, and you're not really sure where you are location-wise. Yeah. So then you have Stephen and Dodo attacked by these savages with these spears. Dodo gets a scream.
She screams
quite a bit in this. That's it's not out of character, but it's because it's more dangerous. Is this the most danger she's been in, really? I mean, apart from like Doc Holliday trying to like shoot her and stuff, I suppose. But
well, it's ironic that, isn't it?
She hasn't really had anything like in the Ark. There wasn't a threat. She just went along with it. Toy Maker, it was all the games and things. This is, if no one's thrown a spear at her yet. I suppose it's a very. But do you know what?
I'm all for her screaming at that. But she screamed when she saw someone. Yeah,
that was it. I think that was because normally she'd be like, hey, look at that then, or whatever she says in the Ark.
She'd have shouted at Stephen, like, Stephen or Doc, whatever.
Yeah, she doesn't, does she?
She screams.
And it's someone not really doing it, it's just a
all he is stood there.
Yeah.
That's a very Susan thing to do. She screams when she's in the corridor, just in that corridor.
I mean, that's a cliffhanger, isn't it? It's someone's coming towards me screaming, whereas she has been in much worse situations than that so far.
She put a gun at Doc Holliday. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's very... So I'm all for her screaming at being like potentially something fired at her, fine. But screaming at a savage just stood up there is really random.
Yeah, it is out of character, yeah. I noticed the music in this first episode as well.
Loads of music.
Because there's so much action with Stephen and Dodo running, and And I'm sure it looked great with the location footage of that, running over rocks and things. But then you notice the music so much because it's ramped up a lot, this sort of violin concerto thing going on.
Yeah. I love the music.
We don't really talk about the music in these, apart from Last Chance Saloon last time. But
it's interesting because sometimes there's no music.
Exactly, yeah. Sometimes you've just got that text going across the screen on these reconstructions, and it's just it's just like wooden clomping or something.
And silence. And I really noticed the music, and the music was great throughout this episode. The music was like big and great and atmospheric, like throughout this episode. It felt grand, even just outside in a plane.
Yes, yeah, really good. Yeah, and then the Doctor goes off straight on his own story. He meets the elders and Jano in this futuristic place.
I kept calling him Juno.
Jano.
I am Jano, leader of the Council of Elders. These are my counselors. We have all known about you for a long time.
And he's honoured and given robes. And of course, the Doctor loves to be this authority figure.
He does.
I find it quite interesting that he just goes along with it straight away.
Well,
and he doesn't care about Stephen and Dodo, to begin with.
No, but he seems to already know about them, so maybe that's why he goes along with it.
I thought he would be more worried because they're like, we've been tracking your travels. How they do that, who knows? Because he doesn't know where he's going.
No,
but there's no explanation for it.
No.
You're just supposed to go along with that.
He already knows who they are because he says, like, it's a peaceful place. So he has because he says, doesn't he, later on, like, I know so much, but I don't know how you are like this.
Yeah.
So he says that. He's like, I know that, but tell me how. And then that's when he gets concerned because he's like, well, that's wrong.
Yeah.
How you've got this skill, how you've become this way is wrong.
But to begin with, you think he's sitting down, going along with it, all being part of this thing. And then, later on, you realise he's like, actually, I've sussed them out. Let's get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a question. So if you went to Jano's, right?
Yeah. If I went to Jano's.
If you went around Jano's with the elders.
Yeah.
What gift would you like? Would you like the robes from the Doctor? Would you like the dagger that Stephen got, or would you like the diamond mirror?
Ooh.
What would you choose?
I think I'd choose the diamond mirror.
Yeah.
Not because of later, nothing to do with that, but the robes are just what they are. I mean, it's not robes, it's a poncho.
Do you know what? I might go for the robes. Why
You'll
not?
You'll go for the poncho?
Yeah, I'll have the poncho.
They
I'll sit down.
have to put it over his head.
Yeah,
it's not a robe. A robe is like what you put over your shoulders. That goes over his head. That is a poncho.
Okay, well, I'll have the poncho.
Yeah.
You can have the mirror then.
I'll have the mirror.
Yeah.
The dagger. Like, Stephen never uses the dagger.
Well, he's going to need that. That's all. This is one possession forever now. He's like, where's my room? I'm moving in.
But ironic, he's in like a peaceful place now.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? There is a bit of a hint when you look back, when a bit like Vicky in Greece, when Avon and Flower are showing them round.
Yeah.
Stephen's like, wow, this place is really nice. There's so much here. Wow. Like he's doing that thing like with Vicky, like, I really like it in Greece. I think I could, settle down.
Yeah.
There's a slight, it's not as obvious.
It's not.
But there's a slight moment where he is looking around thinking, oh, he's never done that before.
No, because we both said, didn't we? Like, it's so un-Stephen. Dodo's very suspicious
and a bit sneaky.
Yeah, she's like, why?
Ask questions.
Why are they not showing us other places? Yeah. Why are we just like?
Yeah. And Stephen's like, Dodo, don't be so rude. This is a really nice place, and just taking it on face value. It shows that he really likes the place, which ties in. So it's probably just lessening the blow later on when he's like, yeah, okay, I'll stay. This wasn't even a thing 5 minutes ago, but I'll stay.
What made me laugh was, and we're jumping ahead a little bit, but when they choose Stephen, they just go, he's the man!
Yeah. Just like that, yeah.
The God.
Of course.
He's a man! And obviously, because, it's just, we can't see the footage. It's...
Yeah. It's probably like that. Yeah. But in
Anyway.
episode 1, there's no... That is all you get.
Yeah.
You don't... Stephen's very background all of a sudden. In a
Yeah.
way, because it's all about... It's the Doctor sitting down with Jano and then Dodo being suspicious. And Stephen is our... Oh, everything's fine. Yeah, this is great.
It fits in with his dull character, Mark. I'm sorry. I mean, again, okay, because let's talk about Stephen. This is our chance to talk about Stephen. Let's go to which was the one where we were in France?
Massacre.
The massacre. He literally stumbled into that whole thing because he sat in a pub.
Yes, I know.
Like all he did was sit in a pub and people threw him into conversations and threw him into things and he just rolled in with it.
And then he met Anne.
We don't talk. Anne was nothing,
And possibly
Mark.
had a child.
Dodo.
And had Dodo's descendant child.
That's not what it is.
No.
That's not what happened. Wouldn't that be a weird thing if Dodo was his daughter? Well, that's what you're saying.
No, not
That
his
is what you're
actual daughter,
saying.
his descendanted
Oh, yeah,
daughter.
yeah, but-
not actual daughter.
Yeah. But like, isn't that a weird thing? Is that what you're
would
trying
be
to say?
weird. No, I was just saying, like, yeah,
That was what you're trying to
he had a
say.
child, and that's how Anne survived, and that's how, because Dodo has the same surname as Anne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is impossible in itself.
Which, I don't know, you could probably work it out somewhere. So I'm just saying it could happen. Well, how do we get onto this? Anyway, what was he doing in the massacre? Yeah, he sat in the pub in
All
the
he did
massacre.
was sit in a pub.
Yeah.
And got thrown along.
Yeah, fine.
Like, this just fits in with his character of like, roll along with it.
But you don't know. Stephen could be from around those times. He is from the future. So he would be a bit more at home looking around this place.
Yes, completely.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Then we go over, we see Nanina, right?
Yeah.
I was hoping Nanina could be another Edith Katerina person, but actually Nanina doesn't.
You need to drop
Nanina
this.
doesn't cut it, actually.
No.
I'm just going to say she's not one of those.
No.
She possibly could be.
No,
But-
just drop
well,
it.
She could have been at first, because poor old Nanina, she's told, go and warn everybody. For whatever reason, she's running the completely opposite direction towards the guns. And there's some lovely telesnaps of her, like,
The exact
running,
same telesnap each
running,
time, yeah.
towards this light gun, and she gets captured.
Nanina!
She doesn't have enough lines, you see, to be a Katerina or an Anne.
Are you serious? Katerina says fuck all.
Yeah, well, Nanina says less. So she
doesn't.
Nanina hardly says... Well, no, okay.
I'm sorry. Nanina definitely says more than Katerina.
No.
She, like, nearly saves that guard's life. She does so much
Okay,
more
let's
than
just fly the flag for
Katerina.
Nanina, okay?
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I know. One, I agree. Like, there is not there's not an Edith Cat. There are not these people in every story. You need to.
I'm just trying to shine the light on some of these characters that have never been talked about before.
They can be talked
Can
about.
I tell you, there's no Doctor Who podcast that has talked about Nanina for more than we have so far. It's a first, everyone.
No, I am all for shining the light, but you put them on a mantle and have them live there forever.
I just like talking about them.
Edith still comes up.
Yeah, I know.
Anne was a fuck all character.
Anne did a lot.
Anne was nothing. Anne was nothing. Okay? You need to lose it. But Nanina definitely did more than Katerina. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I will not let that lie.
Well, she doesn't do enough because she gets captured by the light gun.
But later she does.
Yeah, okay, we'll get to later. Okay, but there's a lot of Nanina being captured.
Yes.
Like, she's there a good episode and a half. She's been captured and experimented on and stuff.
Only an episode?
It goes on for a while. It goes into episode 2.
Does it?
Yeah, it's a lot of that. Yeah.
She comes out quite soon.
So then I really like Dodo sneaking around. And,
Yes.
And going off and saying, "Oh, I don't want to do the conducted tour." That is Dodo's character. I like that.
It was very Barbara.
Oh, I don't know if Barbara... Would Barbara do that?
Yeah, I think she would.
No, I don't. I think Vicky would.
Vicky would.
Vicky would do it in the same way, like Dodo and Vicky would do it in an intelligent way. Like, I'm suspicious of this civilization. Something's not right. I've looked out the window. Oh, there's Nanina going in with a light gun. That's suspicious. On what's down here.
Oh, you see, I think
Susan would
Barbara
do it, but Susan would do it in a, oh, my shoe's fallen down the stairs. I'm just going to go and get it. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's going on? No.
No,
Like
I think Barbara would.
me. Like, Barbara would say, Ian, I don't like it here. Or something like that. And then Ian would be like, oh, don't be so silly, Barbara. Look, there's some fruit. Let's go and have that. Or something like that.
Yeah, but I think Barbara would go
Barbara
and
would
look.
do those looks like, oh, I might get some radiation soon, or something might happen. Barbara wouldn't. She'd look out the window, but she wouldn't go as far as one of the younger ones. I don't think.
No, you see, because if we look,
We've got to stop putting Ian and Barbara in these situations, but it's fun.
but if you look back on some of the other ones, okay, let's go back to the Space Museum. Barbara did a lot of like rooting around.
Yeah,
We're talking
okay.
later Barbara here.
Yeah, okay,
But I
later
agree.
Barbara, yeah.
Barbara very much would be like, Ian, what's that? Like, very suspicious. But I think she might not, like, scoot off in the same way. Like, scoot off. But I think...
Dodo scoots off, yeah.
Dodo scoots off, and she knows she's scooting off.
Yeah.
But I think, like, she might do it by accident.
Yeah, okay,
I think
Barbara
it would be a
do it
mix of the
accident,
two.
yeah.
Like, I think it'd be like, what's down here? And she'd accidentally end up in the situation.
Yeah, she'd
Whereas
like read
Dodo,
a sign wrong or something and go through the wrong door.
she'd be like, what's that about? And end up there and be like, oh gosh, how am I here?
Or she'd be in a corridor on her own and be like, Ian?
Oh no.
Where
Do you
are
think?
you? And then Susan would be like, Grandfather? Grandfather?
Whereas Dodo specifically knew what she was doing.
Dodo was like, I need to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
Yeah. And Vicky probably would as well.
Yeah. So I like that. And then Stephen doesn't realise she's gone for a while. And Avon and Flower. What do you think of
Flower.
Avon and Flower? So Flower, played by the same actress as Nero's wife.
Yeah,
in the
you told me
Romans.
that. Yeah.
They're like the sort of... Well, they're like the rich youth that don't really know what anything else is going on.
But they do.
But they sort of do, but they know what's forbidden. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit... I said it's a little bit like the Galaxy 4. Appearances aren't what they seem kind of theme, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, they know, but yeah.
They know.
Because they know because they say something like...
But they're not
talk
bad.
about
They're
the
not like
savages.
baddies. They're not
No,
like
they're not
baddies. They're
baddies.
just products of the civilization. They're
Yeah.
not part of it. They're not doing anything.
Their innocence
But they
to
know.
it.
But they know where their place is.
Yeah, their innocence to the system.
I got a little bit fed up with the same picture of Flower just coming up. There's that telesnap of her. There's like one telesnap of her, and it's just like the same.
What a name. Like, and also I didn't realise it was Flower for ages.
Yeah.
Because I was so intentional, went, her name's Flower.
But then actually, you don't. After episode 2, we don't see them again, do they? They get zapped, but then we don't really. I don't think we see what happens to them in the end, do we? It's a
No.
bit sad. You sort of assume that something bad's happened to them.
Well, I reckon that they've just gone to jail of some sort because when they do the thing on the doctor, they say that they've never done anything like that before.
True. Okay. Yeah.
So it wouldn't make sense that they're going to go and zap their life crap out of them.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I think they've just gone to like somewhere bad, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not that. Because also their thing is the reason that they can justify doing it to the savages is because they're savages.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're not going to be
wouldn't
doing
do
it to their own.
Avon and Flower. No.
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 They just they don't go somewhere nice.
So going into episode 2, Nanina is being zapped, and then Dodo is watching, and basically walks in and is like, "What do you think you're doing?" Again, I love that because every story so far, she's had a go at somebody
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
She's interfered. She has no issue holding back. I really like that.
It's like she's there
I've
for
never noticed
ages.
that about Dodo before.
Yeah. But it's
And
like she's there for a while, like
Yeah,
watching, and they
I
sort of
know.
turn around like,
I know.
who's this?
It's difficult to tell from the telesnaps, but I reckon she's going to be right in shot, and they have to just pretend they haven't seen her for ages. You know that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know that, yeah.
Yeah.
And these scientists. The scientist bits, I felt like, obviously, again, we can't see what's happening, but there's a lot of blank, control, them doing the controls and things. In a lot of these episodes, isn't it? There's quite a lot of time filled up with just computer banks, and I'm sure it looked great, them pressing these buttons and doing all the sort, but you don't get, that's what you miss in this, don't you?
Yeah.
There's a lot of sort of dead time with that. It slows it down a little bit.
Yeah, so we don't know exactly...
You see the sort of glass case thing that Nanina's in. I think it fills up with smoke, I can imagine.
Yeah, because they do that with the Doctor, don't they?
But then you can't really see. There's just lots of hands and buttons and things like that.
Yeah.
But they, you know, she has a go at them. Dodo proper says, "What do you think?" And she's like, "I'll smash her equipment," just like that.
Yeah, yeah. And she's
Really?
proper fighty because they don't understand why. How is this fighty and stuff?
Like no one else would do that.
Yeah.
No one else would do that. And then we find out the Doctor, he's been sitting there having his time at Jano's house. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I need to go. I'll be back a little bit later.
Yeah.
See you later." And then off he goes. Then a bit later on, isn't it, when Dodo sees the Savage in the corridor at the end of the episode and lets him go, so she knows something's going on. She tries to tell Stephen, I think. Stephen is a bit still wrapped up in everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I really like, there's some really nice scenes between the Doctor and Jano when they do confront each other.
Yeah, yeah.
This is William Hartnell back on form.
It's interesting. When he's on there, he's great.
Yeah.
I think the breaks help him.
Well, you see, I think I've said this before, they know now, like in the Toy Maker, let's make him a hand so he can have a bit of a break. Just give him a couple of pages per episode. He can do his bits. Off he goes. We can have a peaceful time. Because I think in some of the interviews with the producers and things, they're like, we've got an evening to film 25 minutes. If William Hartnell has a strop, has a problem, everybody is under pressure.
Yeah.
If I would say, right, here's your speech, film that, see you later, we'll get on with the rest of it, and we can all relax now because he's not there.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it is like that.
Yeah.
And you can see that because he's got his little scenes, he does his bit with Jano,
Yeah.
lies down, gets zapped, we can get on with the rest of the episode until he wakes up at the end.
Can we talk about how great Jano is as a Doctor?
Oh, it's so good, isn't it?
So good. You knew
It's
straight
clever
away.
because actually he's not much of a... I didn't really think much of him before.
No.
I mean, he's your normal leadery, spacey leader person. Nothing amazing. No, but then it contrasts so well for when he does.
You must rest, Jano. I shall give instructions that you're not to be disturbed.
An excellent idea. After an experience like that, one takes time to become adjusted. I suppose my two young friends...
Avon and Flower?
Good gracious, no. Stephen and Dodo, the child with the ridiculous name.
The strangers?
Oh, strangers to you, perhaps.
You know he's got the Doctor
The little
in him.
mannerisms and everything. Yeah,
Like,
perfect.
perfectly.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can't see it, but you hear it.
And I bet he's doing some lapel acting, and
Yeah.
I bet he's doing the movements as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
really good. It contrasts so well because you can immediately tell what's happened.
Yeah, because then you can tell that it was almost like confusion. It's so obvious. It's great.
So when as that's sort of developing, is still keeping your interest? Because we watched this pretty quick, didn't we? We didn't
did.
really have any issues.
No.
Like we'll have to
We
have
went
a
for a
break.
walk.
Yeah, but
That was a choice.
it wasn't. It was a choice. It wasn't a we need a break from this episode.
Yeah, yeah. We probably would have gone all the way through.
Yeah.
It's just because the market was going to close.
It went really quick. It went really quick for me watching this through, which is a good sign.
Yeah. It did for me. What I really enjoyed about this, just as a whole, is working out what the next thing was going to be. Sometimes with some of these, it's you already know and you're waiting for it to happen. And what I enjoyed with this was the intrigue. So the first episode, I think why I enjoyed it is the whole time I was thinking, ooh, like, how, like, why, what are they doing with this? Because we know early on they've got her, and like, what are they doing with her? And I want to work out what Dodo's going to find out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the interest for me. I want to work out what she's going to see. I want to work out, and even as he's telling the Doctor what he's doing.
I quite like that when Jano was explaining to the Doctor, it cut to Nanina being zapped. He's like, well, we get our power. We've worked out a great way of getting our power. Cut to Nanina being done, and then cut back. I liked how it was done like that. There's not sometimes in these episodes you get the full scene and you go to the next one like a play.
Yeah.
But this felt a bit more edited.
It did, yeah. And I liked that, and I liked even then I was like, do they come out? Do they die? Do they live? Like, I still constantly had questions. I wanted to know what the next part was. And then because then Dodo is in that. What's going to happen to Dodo? Even when the doctor's out, by the time the doctor's out, we already know about June. So the whole time in this story, there was something to keep me, a new development, to keep me going, oh, that now. How are they going to do that? Like, at one point I was like, are they going to have to get the doctor's body back? Are they going to put it back in him? Like, I had so many different thoughts going on how it might work. So that's what I really enjoyed overall about this story. That's like sort of my positive of it, really.
I mean, it's not one that it comes up on any fan lists or anything like that.
No.
And I think it suffers because it is missing. Some of these ones that there's nothing, it just doesn't get the exposure of, you know, some of these other great ones that people watch again and again. Like, and it's not really one that everyone's like, oh, I want to see animated or anything like that. It just doesn't have any, it would come very low in any fan list. But I think the only reason is because people don't know about it as much, because all you've got is the soundtrack. I think if people knew about it a bit more, I think it would be very well.
It's got great music.
Liked. It's got, like, you know, it's known for Stephen's last story, and that's about it.
Yeah, but it's
nothing else.
It's got great music to it. It's got a good, like. If we look back at some of the previous ones as well, like that we've what we just had, the Wild West one,
Gunfighters.
The Gunfighters. What was it really about? There was no like moral to it, or it was just for fun. The Toymaker. What was it about? This one. It was a classic thing in that it had a moral to it. It had a right and a wrong and a clear, this is why, this is it. I keep referencing it, but I think it's because it's really close to it. But the Space Museum was the same. Like, the reason that like I enjoyed the Space Museum is it was a really clear, like...
Well, like the end of the arc with the Refusians and the humans living together after the monoids and stuff.
When it's really clear, like, whatever it is, you know. I mean, again, that one was about how they'd switched their roles and almost, why have you done that, sort of thing for them. But, you know, and the Space Museum, it was a sort of like, they'd been sort of, it was overriding.
A rebellion,
rebellion, that's the word I'm looking for, overriding. They're not like a CD or something. But... this one, it was about morals and about right and wrong and about humanity. And that's where it works, because the last two definitely, what were they really about?
Yeah.
A bit of fun or nothing.
So the last two episodes of this, Stephen then suddenly is taking the lead.
Yeah, he's the hero.
Suddenly he's like, right, I know what's going on now. Let's go. He uses the mirror to do the gun thing. That's
which
clever.
Is great, really
they're
clever.
In the caves. I got a little bit lost because they're all in the caves and it's a bit dark. You're like, what's actually happening? But the guards are coming after them. Exhaust, the guard, who's our baddie, isn't he? Exhaust.
Exhaust. I said to you like an exhaust pipe.
Yeah, they've got really strange names. So Stephen does a bit of science with the mirror and everything. That's good. And then he's starting to be that leader. Suddenly he just steps up.
Yeah. Which he can do.
Which he has done before. It's not unusual.
Yeah.
And Chow, not Chad, Chow has a few leadery moments as well, and they know that they can trust Stephen.
Yeah.
And Dodo's just there helping out. She's not a problem. She's not an issue. She's not a Susan issue.
No.
She's definitely a helper in this cause.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they override the city. And then we have...
Can we just quickly, talk about the really annoying one?
Oh, Tor. So Tor's our annoying one, isn't he?
Tor is so annoying in this.
He's a bit like Eldrad from the Time Meddler. You know, that beardy one that was
like...
Yeah, there's always one. There's always one. There's Tor in this, Eldrad in the Time Meddler.
In the... in the thingy one. not the one before the space mute. Not the one before the toy one.
Oh, in the Ark.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy. Yeah, what's his name in the courtroom in the Ark?
Him.
Yeah, there's always one that's a bit like, hang on, I don't think we should do this, and then actually he's wrong.
Yeah.
That's basically Tor's job.
Yeah, he's annoying. So annoying in this.
But can we talk about Exhaust and Nanina a minute?
Yeah, that's great.
So that was a bit of a twist, wasn't it?
Yeah, we like that.
Suddenly she's sticking up for Exhaust. I was like, hang on a second. Why do we always highlight these moments?
We love that moment.
So yeah, Nanina does a little bit more. She's not just a savage that's captured at the beginning. Yeah, so she...
But she acknowledges, we shouldn't kill.
Yeah.
Revenge
and
is
that's
not
where
just...
That's where you're like, okay, hang on, maybe these two sides are going to get together and...
Work something out.
That's the start of it. It is a bit annoying that the Doctor is out of it for so long, because even, they've got William Hartnell there, he's just... Because he doesn't say anything, he's just being carried along. So I wonder how much... acting he's doing there. And then suddenly he's all right, a couple of speeches at the end, and he's signed off on that story,
Yeah.
He doesn't really add any more to it. It could have been done without him. Stephen could have just sorted it all out, really. There's nothing that the Doctor could have added, apart from he knows that Jano, I don't know, there's something because of this energy thing. The Doctor knows that what Jano's going to do, and knows that Jano has some conscience now.
Yeah.
And sort of just seems to know... It's a little bit annoying that he seems to know how it's all going to work out. He's like, yeah, I could have told you that from the beginning. It's like, well, why didn't you then?
Well, he was out of it.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
it's only literally as he comes out and he's like, don't shoot him.
Yeah. The best moment for the Doctor was arguing with Jano, but then he doesn't have any good... he doesn't have any great moments for the rest. It's not actually a great story for the Doctor.
No. It's not.
No. And them smashing everything up at the end, I'd love to see that.
I know, yeah.
It goes on for ages. There's all this banging and clanging and smashing. And
or set person.
Everyone, yeah, exactly. That set designer's just watching in horror at all of their work being smashed up. And then, like you said, suddenly they're like, oh, I think we need a leader.
Yeah, a negotiator. Who can negotiate? You!
There is the leader we want, Jano. This is what I thought. Just a minute. I couldn't. A great honour, dear Paul. Well, I can't walk out on you and do that. Let's think of the challenge to be able to set up the people of these planets for a new life.
He's a leader.
Was that the moment you thought, Stephen? When did you think? Was it until Stephen's... actually
until
said,
that
until the moment
literally until
said.
that moment until that moment I did not think it until that moment when he pointed early on he talked about when Stephen shone the light with the mirror and one of them goes he is the saviour or something like that.
Yeah.
That was a nothing moment. It was just sort of these are savages who've lost everything and they're oh my gosh, nothing. In hindsight, that is probably why these are the people that shout him. So that makes, if I'm putting two. But that was just that happened. I didn't think anything of it at all. It was just this person saved our life. Until that moment. And even then, it wasn't that clear who they were pointing at. I thought they were pointing at the Doctor.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Because obviously it's all stills and stuff.
But the Doctor... He says, he puts Stephen up for it, really.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you can stay. He's like, I need to get rid of Stephen. I know. I'll just volunteer him to stay on this planet.
Yeah.
It does come across a little bit like that.
Yeah.
And you've said before, the Doctor wouldn't be bothered if Stephen decided to stay somewhere.
No.
Doctor's this is a perfect opportunity to get rid of Stephen.
Yeah. I've always said I don't think he'd be that bothered.
And then Stephen's like, oh, really? Oh, okay. He doesn't seem that sure to begin with. It's not yes, this is, I really like this place. This is a cause. He needs to be persuaded to stay.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, oh, can I just go and get my panda? I'll just get my panda and my Greek outfit and my stripy jumper. Just give me a minute to get some stuff.
Yeah.
No, Doctor's like, no, you stay in.
Bye.
There's a whole lab to rebuild. Well, not rebuild, because it will start again, but...
tidy up.
tidy up. Yeah, so it's a good ending for Stephen, I think, in that he's ended up somewhere where he can make a difference, which is his build to his strengths.
Yeah.
He's in the future.
Yeah.
He's not stuck somewhere like in Greece or whatever where he's going to regret it.
Yeah.
You can see him staying there and building a life.
Yeah, yeah.
And one day he can build a spaceship and go wherever he actually came from.
Yeah.
One day.
And it's interesting because Dodo says, "Do you think we'll see him again?" I mean, they've tracked the Doctor. There's no reason why.
Ah, good point. Yeah, but did all that technology go when they smashed it all up, you see? So in that way, it is a good ending for Stephen. I just didn't like it was so rushed, but it's always going to be rushed in 1960s Doctor Who, I think.
Actually, if we're like going to, contemplate this in a wider sense, surely the moral of this is it's better to work together to create a better future than to just exploit. I think that's what the moral is here.
Okay, great. There we go.
So that's what hopefully will come of this. They can still progress and grow, but they will use the skills of each other together, because we know that the Savages at one time had great skill.
Yeah.
Because they built those caves, they were artists, they were all this, and slowly those skills were zapped away from them.
I don't think anybody has ever analysed the world of the Savages in so much detail as you just have. I don't think anybody's ever thought of it so deeply before.
No. Well, poor Savages. I don't think anyone cares so much about Nina as you do.
Yeah, exactly. We are flying that fire flag for the Savages.
Yeah. Firefly.
I mean, what's that thing? You know when they go in the caves with the thing with fire? That's what I meant.
Okay.
I don't know. It's probably got
They
a
don't
name.
go in over light beam.
No, like, they go in with the, what the cavemen
A torch.
have. Oh, yeah, I suppose. Fire torch. We're waving the fire torch for the Savages. That's what we're doing.
Well, I must say, young man, I'm very proud of you. Doctor, I don't know if I know, my boy. Well, go on, you mustn't keep them waiting.
Yeah, so, well, I'll miss Stephen.
Yeah, I will. I'll miss Stephen. I will miss Stephen, because it's very much... He very much held stories together.
And Dodo was in pieces at the end.
She was.
Dodo
She was distraught.
She was a mess by the end of it.
Yeah.
In those sort of moments, because there's a few, tiny, seconds
Yeah.
that exist. She's just she looks terrible.
Yeah.
Hugging the Doctor and crying, and
She's a mess.
she is... Maybe she's a bit overacting there that she's going to miss Stephen. Maybe she's just
Well, to be fair...
Maybe it's the Doctor and Dodo are like, right, next time we land, Stephen can just be in charge of the civilization. We'll go. You cry. I'll put him up for it. Let's go.
But if you think about it, to some extent, maybe Dodo's like, shit, it's just me now, because the Doctor's like...
Stuck with the Doctor.
I'm stuck with the Doctor, and he's never around.
I'm stuck with the Doctor and his vibrator.
And he just fucks off all the time. He's never... He was a handle at one point.
Exactly. Yeah, she's like, oh...
It's basically been Dodo and Stephen most of the time.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. Maybe
She does well
maybe
by
Dodo's
herself.
like, oh, who are you again? I haven't seen you around. Were you that hand the other time?
She's either been by herself or with Stephen. This is one thing that's been very different, which we talked about, than with Vicky. Vicky spent a lot of time with the Doctor. Dodo spent no time with the Doctor.
Yeah,
Dodo's been with Stephen.
That's true.
Vicky spent the first 3 episodes just with the Doctor. All Dodo got with the Doctor was that first episode on the Ark. That tiny little bit where they went to the planet, and then they came back again.
Great, he's going to teach me how to speak properly now. That's all the time. It's lessons with the Doctor now.
Yeah. So...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I reckon, she spent a long time with
Dodo
Stephen.
should have been like, I want to stay too.
She says to him, are you sure?
Will we see him again, please? Can we just come back now?
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Well, I'm glad you liked it. I'm really glad.
I did.
I mean, I haven't really... I mean, Nanina and things are a bit of a revelation to me, because I've had the CD, but I haven't really. Again, it's because it's, you know, like I think like a lot of people, because it's the missing one, you don't pay much attention to it. And you know, I've tried to listen. I know the basic plot, but again, I'm just listening, waiting for Stephen to leave. I'm not getting into the story. I've got into the story much more this time.
Yeah.
We've talked about the whole civilization and everything.
I know.
I feel like I really know this story now. So if you are listening and you don't know this very well, I tracked down the recon or the CD. I'm sure one day it'll come out on vinyl.
We did not do that.
We didn't know. One day I'm sure they will all come out on vinyl. I saw Marco Polo in HMV the other day.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, I was just saying I saw it.
Okay, you looked at me as in like, oh, and...
No, I know. The nice massive box set. It was £99.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just no. I really did not enjoy Marco Polo.
Yeah. I know.
There was nothing in me that would, A, want to spend that much money, and B, want to go through Marco Polo again.
Yeah. But I'm glad we're getting through these missing ones. It has been a missing heavy season, but the next story, the last story of the season, is 4 episodes and it all exists.
Oh, nice.
So it's a nice way to round it off. And he said next week, the War Machines.
Yeah.
So what are you hoping happens next?
The War Machines.
The War Machines, yeah. The Doctor and Dodo.
Oh gosh, the War Machines. I think it will be further back in time than where they are now.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, they're quite far in the future.
They're pretty far in the future, so still like future, but further back. And I think there'll be some metal.
Okay, there we
and
go.
Machinery.
Metal and machinery.
Yeah.
Fine. There you go, there's a prediction for you.
And I don't think there'll be a new companion.
Okay, exciting stuff.
Not yet.
Yeah, well, I'll sign up another BritBox for you.
There we go again. Or
I'll post you a DVD, depending on how I might just send you the DVD. buy you a copy.
My second.
Your second ever DVD.
My second.
Yeah, great. Okay. We will see you next time then for the War Machines. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 2WatchWho. Yeah, and we'll see you then for the last story of season 3. Bye.
Bye.
2 Watch Who.
Hey, Doctor Who? What are you talking about?